Okay. Alex, very nice to finally meet you. We've been on LinkedIn for quite a while. Been a big distant admirer of yours from Singapore about what you've been doing. And welcome and thank you very much for making the time.
No, thank you very much for the invitation. I wish I was in Singapore right now. Haven't been for 2 years actually due to the pandemic, but it used to be a place where for business and sports, I used to spend a lot of time there.
Fantastic. Well, you should come and we'll. If you can see my background, it's the background of the Singapore Cricket Club, which is supposed to be the unofficial office of my company, Pictureport Partners. I spend way too much time there. So the next time you come, we'll have some food and we'll have some drink and get to know a few more people. But look, here we are today to actually find out more about what you're doing, and specifically what you're doing is extremely in focus now. It's a very exciting space of fan tokens and digital collectibles and NFTs or non-fungible tokens and crypto and blockchain. I want to try and keep it a bit simple, and then we'll try and make life complicated. Could you start off by explaining to me 5 words: blockchain, crypto, fan token, digital collectible, and NFT, and make it seem like you're speaking to your father's younger brother. So he's not the most digital person. How would you explain that?
It's a tough one, especially if we have only 25 minutes, and that's the first question. I guess the way I will talk about it is the fact that, and I will focus on digital asset. I think what we do, fan tokens, it's important to say that they are not cryptocurrencies, they are assets. Why? Because they are not spendable. You own it, and by owning it, it gives you a right to vote on whatever, but we'll talk about that. But the purpose of blockchain is to create digital product, digital asset, cryptocurrencies, crypto asset, whatever, NFTs, whatever you want to call them, that are immutable and that are really like, you cannot cheat the system. And they are transferable in any protocol. So when you own something, you really own it. Unlike today, when you think you own your money at the bank, it's not true, actually. You own a representation of your money potentially somewhere, and actually it's not yours, it's bank's money. Here, actually it's the state money, because the bill legally is owned by the country, or the note is owned by the country. In the case of crypto, you really own the access to the asset, and you're the only one who has access to that. And is it the future? No, it's the present. There is always this question about, oh yeah, that's gonna grow. Man, there is 200 million people right now, 150 million people that are in the crypto space as a crypto enthusiast, and it's growing every day. So it's not anymore about, is it the future? It's the present, and it's gonna grow for the future.
Fantastic, great. Now, help me understand 2 things. You use the word immutable. What does that mean? And why are we where we are? What are the different kinds of technological, commercial trends, consumer trends, which have led to 200 million people almost believing that there's an alternative to money as we've known for probably a few hundred years?
That's a very big debate. I mean, immutable in the way that it is technically a ledger where you cannot change whatever is written. So when we say Alex sent to number B or to Joe or to John, you cannot change that ever, and it's visible for everybody. So that's immutable in that way. Why it's relevant today? I think it's relevant because, and I'm not going to do a financial policy debate because I'm not equipped and I'm not educated enough, but I do believe that it gives an edge on inflation, and inflation is massive nowadays, unfortunately. And there are some countries in Turkey, in Brazil, in many places in the world where it is even more relevant than for you and me. But I think the potential here is not really about cryptocurrencies, and that's my fight, actually. My fight is to push the fact that blockchain and cryptocurrency / crypto assets are more about assets than currencies themselves. I'm not a proponent about, hey, Bitcoin is going to replace dollar. I don't think so. I do believe that the technology allows us to create new product, new features, new innovation that will be valuable for whoever use them. And that's what we've done with Socios and Chiliz. We use a tech, blockchain and crypto assets to create digital assets, fan tokens, that give a fan anywhere in the world, and especially in Singapore, where suddenly you are a fan of Arsenal or you are a fan of City or Paris Saint-Germain, even though you are 10,000 miles away from that, you are suddenly part of the community. And the proof of you being part of the community is actually you owning a fan token. And nobody can remove that from you because you own this. And so the way we design fan tokens and Socios is kind of like, we believe that the future of the sports industry is going from the passive fan to an active fan industry. We believe that bridge between passive and active is going to be the new way, or a new way, to engage and monetize fans in the next 5 to 10 years. And we believe that all these clubs who say they have 500 million, 1 billion fans, the reality is they monetize barely 0.1%, except on TV and sponsoring. But as a B2C businesses, they do not. So we think that digital asset, NFTs, fan tokens, and any other things we're going to invent in the next 5 years are going to be a significant revenue stream for these clubs, brands, and communities. And that's just the beginning of the journey.
Fantastic. So now let me take a step back. So in the sports industry, we have federations, we have leagues, we have clubs or franchises, and then we have the players who are managed by the agents. Across this value chain, I'm seeing and sensing a lot of activity at a club level rather than a league level or at a player level. Is that my perception, or do you think that's the first trend or the first wave? And why is that so?
So here it depends on a lot of countries. It is clubs. I mean, clubs are self-dependent, I guess is the right word. I don't know if it's the right word, but they can do more or less what they want. Yeah. So on a commercial point of view, on an innovation, on fan engagement, it is their mandate to decide and to deliver. Leagues is a little bit more complicated because leagues depends on the country. They are either a representation of all the clubs, meaning politics, board, association, 1 year roadmap, etc. And leagues have a question: is what do they own that is valuable to be either tokenized, or what is an NFT? And you and I, we know we work in that space and we've seen it every day. I mean, I'm talking with a lot. My call just before was with a league, and okay, everybody's excited about NFTs, but what can you put in an NFT? You know, I'll take, this is an NFT. Where's my bottle? Well, this is
I can say it.
Technically, this is an NFT. The question is, what can you put inside that is valuable for you and for the league or whoever? And for that, actually, nobody has the answer. There are a lot of initiatives that has been more or less successful for the last 12 months, NBA Top Shot, Sorare, and of course, non-sports related NFTs as well. But for now, they have also shown that they are not necessarily sustainable. So there is a question, and I don't have the answer, about what is going to be the killer app in terms of NFT-based product that's going to be driven by leagues and or clubs. And that's the challenge. And
understood.
Nobody has the formula right now.
Okay, so I think you're saying 2 or 3 things. One, I think you made a big distinction, an important distinction between an object and an asset. That bottle is an object. Until there's something worthwhile in it, it becomes an asset. That's the first point. The second point you made is that apart from sport, other genres have also gone into the NFT space, but creating lasting value is not quite there. There's a challenge there for, you know, those areas. But I think you've also made a very interesting point about why clubs are important, because I guess the fan has the primary relationship with a club rather than a league. And you know, that makes a difference.
And here you're going to challenge me and you're going to tell me, yeah, but fans are actually more fans of Messi and Ronaldo than they are fans of the clubs at some point. So there is a question mark. Now, there is a question mark as well on how athletes and celebrities will leverage the tech and the innovation to their profit, but to the interest of the fans. And on this one, I'm even more challenged because we had the opportunity to create like a fan token of like a top football players. We didn't do it. We don't think it's right for now, because what happens when the player retires? What happens when he dies? What happens when XYZ? Brands, football clubs or brands going to last for the next 100 years.
Timeless. So, they're timeless.
Yeah. So that's critical when you create assets. If you want to make a money grab, yeah, sure, let's do a Ronaldo token and you're going to make thousands of millions of dollars. But so what? What do you give to the fans? So that's a bit of the question. NFTs for that are probably better answer, because once you issue them, it's done. There is no maintenance. There is no utility necessarily to be provided. Yet
Mm-hmm.
we do believe, and that's where we are investing. We believe that the future of NFTs are more in utility NFT. I'm not trying to invent a new word, just saying that we believe that if you can attach utility to an NFT, and it's not just a collectible that will be valuable. We're also questioning for ourselves that what works in US, will it work in the rest of the world, and vice versa? For a very simple reason is North American have a culture as adults to trade sports collectible, memorabilia, etc. European, Indian, Asia, Latin America, and Africa,
Great
there
point.
there is no culture of sports trading collectible at all. As a kid, yes, Panini and Tops, yes, but not as adult. So there is a question here: is what's going to be the product that's going to make it work? And again, I don't have the answer. I'm just here to throw some questions.
No. It's you're being modest, Alex. I think again you're bringing up some very interesting points. So allow me to sort of summarize that. One, you mentioned that there need to be some pre-existing habits or rituals in a sporting culture, like trading cards, for the first wave of NFTs to work, which is very exciting. You also explained about how players, you went for clubs rather than players, and of course leagues, we've explained ourselves. I was curious though, federations and sometimes leagues often have archive footage, and archive footage are timeless moments. Do you see any connection there? And that that's a repeatable golden moment vignettes, as we used to call it in the sort of television days. Do you see any value of archive coming out and becoming digital collectibles?
So if you would have asked me that question 2 years ago, I would say no. But NBA Top Shot proves us that the answer is yes. So theoretically, yes. Still need to tune that, to gamify this. I believe NBA Top Shot and others are going to gamify a bit the ownership of this. So if you own the moments, I mean, whatever highlights from the past, you will be able to play with this, which is cool, and actually which is needed. But I really don't know. Maybe I'm already from the old generation. That's the irony. Is I'm already I'm from the web 1.0, and so. But again, when I see kids, and when I say kids, not in a negative way, but I see this new fans that's gonna engage somehow. They will engage differently than you and me with the brand, with the sport, with the athletes. And so yes, maybe owning something that they're gonna put in the metaverse, and actually, you have your moment, and you can put in your metaverse, in your cupboard behind you, and it's only you who has it, and then you create a museum. Who knows?
Yeah. It's fascinating you say that, because we have an 11-year-old daughter, and she plays a game called Among Us, and how you build an alternative reality which is quite real but it's digital, and how you actually work with different people to create a community online, which is quite incredible. She'll never go there. It's not like going to Milano San Siro, or going to the Theatre of Dreams at Old Trafford in Manchester, but you'll always have it, and it'll be timeless, to your point. It almost seems to me, and please tell me if I'm I still remember when search started about 25 years ago. And search, people like search. I still remember I was at business school, and there was Google and there was Yahoo. And people said, well, Google's only got this bar in the middle, whereas Yahoo's got so many things.
Yeah.
Whereas people realized that Yahoo had more of the same. It was a newspaper on a browser. Hence, we had a web page. Whereas Google was search, and it would open up an entire new world of consumer engagement. I'm almost sensing that blockchain is as big, if not bigger, than search was 25 years ago. Would you agree? How would you debate that? How would you compare in terms of scope, scale of impact?
I believe so. I mean, I guess I'm biased because I'm invested into it, but yet I do believe I've been in the internet space since 1993, 1994. So been there from the first wave, let's say the first generation.
Yeah.
And I do see today the pace of innovation, the money influx. There is a little bit too much money, to be fair, but the pace of innovation and the ideas that comes using blockchain are relevant. They may not be yet, they don't have the market yet to them. We could think about us. Every time I pitch what we do to either fans or crypto enthusiasts, they understand. they love it. But yet we are at 0.001% of our potential. That's the reality. We have like 1.5 million users when we could claim to have 100, or at least target to have 100. But like everything else, there is two things you cannot, I mean, there is one thing you cannot ever buy. Well, actually two things. One is time and the other one is legitimacy. And in that case, you need to have use case to earn their legitimacy. Yeah. That comes with time. So what we are building today are the foundation of what's coming tomorrow. People who don't see it are missing out. They're lost. We don't care. And people who laugh at it, we care even less.
Tell me, how do you visualize what to do next? How do you balance between what's urgent and what's important? Because you're creating a universe, but you're also pursuing commercially market share. And how do you balance the two? But at the same time, the universe needs to grow so the market share can grow so that you can grow. How do you balance the growth of the universe with market share and Socios Chili's combination within that space?
So the thing is, we have actually, we have two brands, but actually it's not true. We have almost 100 brands. We have two brands. One is Socios.com, which is the consumer-facing product that you and I can download. You download the app, you put your details, and then you can interact with the fan tokens that we are creating. Then we have Chili's, which is both the token and the blockchain, where the fan tokens are. And actually more and more, it's going to become like a sports and entertainment dedicated blockchain. And we're going to invest more on the chain part in 2022 than we did in 2021. And then we have every fan tokens that we actually somehow represent. We are the owner of the FC Barcelona fan token. We are powered by Barca, and it's them pushing it, but it's us operating it. So what we don't say too much, but it's true, we are actually profitable. Before the call, you said something about no revenue, etc. No, actually, we made more than $200 million revenue in 2021. Revenue, I'm not talking trading volume, I'm talking revenue.
Not GMV. This is top line on your balance sheet.
In GMV, it's 10 billion or whatever. I mean, not exactly because it's different, but the trading volume.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Of all the fan tokens in 2021 was $10 billion, I think. And we are profitable, but we are profitable first because 2021 was an anomaly. I'm like, as the owner of the company, I'm not afraid to say that we generated more than we should have in 2021, and we will actually probably do less in 2022. I'm not hoping so, but I actually hope that even if we do half less, we'll be super happy already.
It's still okay. If you do half less of $200 million, you're doing okay compared to the rest of the world.
So then, of course, next year we will actually probably lose a lot of money because we're going to invest, like $50 million in marketing. We're going to invest a lot. We are 200 employees, but we are not, for us, it's not about the market share. It's about creating the market, which is actually even more expensive because we have to educate every piece of the puzzle, the clubs, the fans, the media, everybody who is involved, the sponsor, the partners, the crypto community. So we spend a lot of time on that. That's where I am today in a way. And we need to spend more time on that in 2022. But it's happening. It's not anymore, when we signed Paris Saint-Germain and Juventus 3 years ago, of course it was a leap of faith for them and for us. But today it's not anymore. Is it gonna work? Is it happening? No, I mean, we have 100+ teams. We have 25 NBA teams. We have 12, not public, but we have a lot of NFL teams. We have a lot of NHL teams.
I love the enthusiasm. Alex, let me hold you there because I know you're a busy man. I only got you for 5 minutes. Let's talk Turkey. Let's talk about making money. Talk to me about what is the economic transaction between you and Juventus or you and a club. What is in it for them? What's in it for you? So for me, it's very simple. If I want to license the Juventus brand, I go to the licensing person, I do a deal. It's going to be for Indonesia, Bahasa language, auto category, 4 wheels and 2 wheels. Okay, this is the price. Done. If I want to buy the rights to the EPL, I can go to the EPL or they'll come to me and we'll have a conversation. We'll buy the rights. It'll be how many number of matches, how many years, etc., etc. Talk us through the economics and the models of what a transaction looks like.
So I mean, all of these deals are global anyway. So there is no more like, hey, I would like to have a territory or not.
Yes,
These are global.
great
So
point.
we do approach every club. Historically, we approach the clubs. Now it's a bit the other way around, but it's both. I mean, we go, they come, it's the same set. So the way we approach it is we usually have, for the big clubs, we have like a minimum guarantee. We will pay like a license fee. And clubs, unfortunately for all of us, clubs are actually asking more than a licensing. Sometimes they're asking for sponsoring because they want to promote you. I mean, they will try to promote you, so they will try to sell you more. So difficult because you cannot scale that everywhere in the world. Having said so, long story short, we give 100 MG that give us access to set and right, give us access to the right to, of course, create the tokens, promote it, then promoting it, give us right of voting and everything. And then we share more or less 50-50 with the club. So every time we sell the token, primary sell or secondary sell and or trading fees, we will do a revenue share that is close to 50-50, depends on the club.
So would it be very crude but still accurate to say it's almost like a merchandising shirt deal?
Yes.
Where it's similar, right? So you have a minimum license fee, then over and beyond that is a bit of a revenue share, and then it can either be flat 50-50 or depending on how you sell. Is that a similar model?
Yeah. It's, I mean, at the end, I'm selling jersey. I'm printing the jersey. We own the shops who sell the jersey. We distribute the jersey on different shops because we work with different crypto exchanges as well. And that has a cost. And then when we sell more than whatever it costs, then we do a revenue share. It's exactly the same.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, well, and then finally, a lot of sport is around memorabilia. So there's merchandising and there's memorabilia. And memorabilia, in my mind, from an economics perspective, is merchandising, which is in short supply, is a scarcity premium, and they're tradable. Talk to me about, and I know a little bit about these things, which makes me very dangerous, but makes me allowed to ask a good question. Talk to me about primary market, secondary market, liquidity, and how tokens themselves can create value for the fans, and therefore the clubs, and therefore the ecosystem, and therefore to you.
We don't like to talk about the fact that it creates value financially because first, they are not financial instruments, and secondly, the market does what the market does, so we don't. How it works though is we create, let's say, 10 million token for a club. We will sell 10% of it we'll sell 10% of it as a primary sell. So the first serve, first come, more or less, at a fixed price.
Got it. Yeah.
Then these tokens go to a secondary market that is first or platform. So fans can buy out from, they can buy now an unlimited amount, kind of, if it's available to the market. And then if there is a significant demand, then we as the issuer, we will sell to a certain limit, based on a vesting schedule and everything. We will sell into the secondary market as well. We will increase the supply of what we have to sell not anymore the 1 million, the 10% we sold, but maybe another 100K or 200K. And that will generate an income. That income is shared with the club. And that's how it works. Now, the market does what the market does, like literally. There is no, because these tokens are not backed by any financial asset, they are not driven by any financial or revenue or anything. It's really driven by the market and the demand. So sometimes it go up, like Messi. When Messi came to Paris Saint-Germain, the token went to from 15 to $50. But it's not us doing anything. It's just the market doing the market.
Okay, that's great. Okay, I've got 30 seconds, and then we're going to be told to sort of go home and move on with our lives. Let's be Nostradamus. You're Mr. Dreyfus. Let's be Nostradamus. What is your expectation in the next 12 months of positive expectation, or what is the one thing which sort of keeps you up at night, where you feel that certain myopia somewhere in the macroeconomics might just prick the balloon and not allow it to realize its optimal potential? You can talk to us about both or talk to us about one, up to you.
No, I'll talk about both. I'll start by the last one, actually. Actually, COVID for us, for example, was an accelerator. So the macroeconomy, I mean, if there is a financial crash, it's a different story. But the fact that COVID was an accelerator, it's because clubs suddenly needed to realize that they have fans outside of the stadium and they needed a way to monetize it. So we answered to that question. So that was interesting. The regulation is a plus for us. As soon as there will be more regulation, then we don't have any more journalists asking us, hey, you're not regulated. So that will solve a lot of questions. So we don't have a lot. I guess the biggest thing that will make me stay at night is, hey, what if fans don't want that? If fans don't like the proposal, if the users don't like it, if we don't deliver the promises and the experience that we are trying to do. We do today, but who knows in few months or in few years rather. In terms of outlook in the next 12 months, at least for us, it's going to be, we have more than 100 IPs. We're going to have 150, 200 probably next year. We created the foundation of the infrastructure with the people that we hired, and we're going to hire 100 plus more people for that. Now it's the time where we need to improve our product. We need to improve the chain, the blockchain component, and we need to market and actually acquire users, meaning we need to be on TV. We need to have a TV campaign everywhere not everywhere, but in a lot of countries, to say, hey, go on socials.com, engage with your favorite team, do this, and this. So we need call to action into that. That's our main focus in 2022, on top of making sure that everything we are doing right now is working.
Alex, also one final question. When do you sleep? It seems like you're somebody who manages 4 hours of sleep and you work 7 days a week. You're enjoying what you do, and I love that. But what's the best part of being... I sleep in the plane. You sleep. You sleep in the plane. That's very well said. No emails, no phone calls, and you're left to your devices. Alex Dreyfus, thank you very much for making the time. We really appreciate that. All the very best. Go well, and we look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Thanks a lot for your time.